Yo, what up? Amazon Amp, just Amp. What's up, y'all? This is Snaps going live every day, right around 2 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Central on Amp. It's your favorite, or at least I hope one of your favorite, maybe increasingly your favorite daily college football podcast. I'm one of your hosts, T-Bob Hebert, joined as always by QB1, Aaron Murray. Aaron, what's up, man? You look good today. What's going on?
I appreciate it. Since we're on AMP and want to obviously continue our interactions with the fans out there, especially as we get closer and closer to football season, Brumley, are we still able to take calls? Like, can we take calls on the show? Bring some people in?
Yes, let's start the show with some pre-production questions that we could have
I
talked
just
about
popped in my
in
head.
the
I'm just trying
actual
to
pre-production.
I'm just trying.
This is how we win.
I missed the people, T-Bob.
We will explore calls for the future.
Yes, there we go.
Also, remember, youtube.com/@volumesnaps. We got the Snaps team combing through all the comments that you'll leave up there. That's probably we'll end up putting together like a mailbag segment from. We'll highlight some of the best comments. Today's comes from M29 RJM 63. He says, T-Bob, you need to go to rehab. Not sure what you are on, but it's strong. I can tell you what I'm on. Medicinal marijuana, caffeine, and Xanax when I fly.
Marijuana.
That's pretty much it. Yeah. Well, and alcohol. And I love alcohol. I deeply love alcohol. And I deeply love all tobacco, dip, cigarettes, all of it. I just don't allow myself it because I know it's bad for me. Unless it's game day. On game day, I smoke and I drink and I go crazy. Also, be on the lookout. We got some big news coming up, hopefully for a Snaps live show. Can't give any exact dates out, just tease it a little bit. So again, youtube.com/@volumesnaps or Google Snaps Podcast and wherever you listen, Spotify, Apple, whatever, rate, review. We love you. Thank you. Today's show, we got a big one. ESPN dropped their most underachieving tier list once again, and a familiar face resides among the top. We'll break it down. We also got some quarterback talk because we have the resident QB1 here and Aaron Murray. There's some rankings and kind of other interesting draft questions. If you're an Alabama fan, we'll break down whether you should be more concerned by the offense or defense. We got a brand new weekly segment we're going to do on Tuesdays. Today's Tiers for Fears. I'll give you my top three. Tier 1, Tier 2, Tier 3 college football fears. And then a fun piece of news about EA Sports at the end. Yep. All right, let's dive in, though. For the second year in a row, ESPN's dropped their piece, most underachieving fans in all, or most underachieving team in all of college football. And, well, once again, and actually, sorry, they've done this for a few years now, but once again, for the second year in a row, number one in sole possession of Tier 1 are the Texas A&M Aggies. And what's interesting, at the beginning of the piece, they basically talk about how when they were ranked first last year, they were like, look, A&M, it's okay. Just be like Georgia. Because previous to that, Georgia was atop the list. And how it is they look at like the past 20 years, heavy emphasis on the past 5 to 7, and they basically say who has done the least with the most. Remember, it was not that long ago when that was the UGA Bulldogs. And so ESPN tried to encourage A&M fans with this, and yet what they do, they went 5-7, had their first losing record since 2008. And so once again, they are atop this year's rankings. What's crazy to me, Aaron, and help me make sense of this, is the fall since COVID. Because previous to that, it looked like A&M was on a consistent rise, right? They were doing well in Jimbo, and during that 2020 year, they ended up going 9-1 against an all SEC schedule. They finished top 5 in the country. Since that moment, they're 13-11 overall, 6-10 in the SEC.
I thought we don't include the COVID year when we talk about football over the past 2 decades. I thought that's like that year doesn't exist.
So you think you're like winning some sort of point against me here, correct?
No. I'm just throwing it out there. I thought we've talked about it before. You're being very defensive.
Okay, I apologize. I apologize.
My goodness.
Yes, we do not count it.
I was just throwing it out there.
And in a way, this is kind of representative as to why, right?
Yes.
That is the
yes.
exception rather than the rule of who Texas A&M has been. I apologize. Continue.
There we go. I wasn't trying to throw some shade on you there, which I like to do. Listen, they are by far the biggest underachievers. With it started with the contract that they gave their head coach. When you take your head coach away from another dominant program like Florida State, you give them $90 million or $100 million, whatever that initial contract was. Obviously, they've re-upped them even since then. You pour all this money into facilities for quite some time. They had the best facilities maybe in the country, and are still evolving and continue to pour in funds there. Obviously, winning helps that. Then you're recruiting at a high level. Like the question was, you have everything for the Aggies, and that's what the fan base keeps asking too. You have been given everything. You've been supposedly given this incredible coach who just won a national championship within the past decade. You've been given the best facilities in America. You've been given some of the best athletes in America.
Yeah, you even got the
Why
player.
aren't we seeing it? Why aren't we seeing the results on the field? That is the main question. So yes, they deserve to be number one on this list for most underachieving team in America. And do I believe in A&M this year? It's hard.
That's the question. Will they underachieve again in 2023?
I don't think so. I think I said it on yesterday's show. We're going through the coaches poll, top 25 coaches poll. If you haven't seen it, make sure you go back and see that. We kind of broke down some of our teams that we thought are too low, too high, all that good stuff. One of my teams that I thought is going to make the biggest moves this year is the Aggies. They're number 25 right now in this initial poll. It's hard for me not to look at this team and say, what are they missing? Well, for last year and the past couple of years, they've missed a steady quarterback. I think they got that in Connor Wegman.
Okay.
They've missed innovation at the offensive play calling position. Yeah. They went out there and got Bobby Petrino, so Jimbo can now just focus on being a CEO, being a head coach.
That's more up in the like. I'm not giving that a full
no. From what I've heard, no. From everything I think it's 80-90% Bobby's calling the plays.
No, sorry. I mean Petrino is calling the plays. I agree there. What I'm saying is, like, you say, okay, they've been missing great quarterback play. Like, I think Wegman's I think he's going to be really good. Like, I would say, okay, now they have a good quarterback. I'm not sure that Petrino's actually an upgrade over Jimbo, is what I'm saying.
I think anything's an upgrade over Jimbo.
Okay.
This offense was stagnant. I'm just be honest. Like, it can't get much worse. I mean, let's just be real. Like, the offense can't get much worse than they were last year. So I think there's an upgrade at quarterback. I think there's an upgrade at the play calling position. I think they have immense talent at the receiving position. I think they have a good offensive line, and they return the majority of their defense. Like, this is a team which went 5-7 last year. So I think we have to ask ourselves the question, what do they have to get to this year for them to get out of this category? Is it make it to Atlanta? Is it get to double-digit wins? I think they're good enough to get to double-digit wins. I don't think they're good enough this year to make it to Atlanta, because I do think LSU is very talented. I think obviously Alabama is very talented. I don't think they're going to win both of those games in order to get there. But I think this team is more than capable of getting to 9-10 wins.
Yeah, I think 9-3 regular season, 5-3 in the SEC probably, and win the bowl game. I think that's completely doable. And the ceiling's probably even a little bit higher. Again, I wouldn't expect it, but the potential's there. And if you're like, well, how'd they go 5-7 last year? Go look at it, right? Philosophy, injuries, youth, like there were many reasons. All right. When you look at some of the other most underachieving teams on this list in tier 2, they call this the college football playoff no-shows. And it's interesting because we're about to expand from the 14 playoff, and think about the fact that you've never had USC make it. You've never had Texas make it, and you've never had Miami make it. Out of these three teams, Aaron, these three teams, do you think any one of them breaks this curse and manages to make it in the Final Four?
I think two of them have a legitimate chance. I'm extremely high on the state of Texas this year when it comes to football. I think A&M, just like I talked to, has a chance to have a tremendous year. I think Texas is going to have a great year. I know where everyone's like, they got to prove it before we start sipping on that Kool-Aid.
No one's saying that. Literally everyone is sucking Texas. Yes. I am in the minority.
I think more people are more like you of, we're not buying it because it's Texas. We want to see it before we believe it. I'm on the minority side of like I do think they're going to be a good team this year. I think I think Sarkisian has the most amount of talent at the receiving position than he's had since he was the OC at Alabama. So I think the offense is going to be what it can be, which is it should be scary for that league. I do think Ewers is immensely talented. We'll get into that when we get into these quarterback rankings here next segment. And I think the defense was really good last year, 21 points given up per game. So I'm high on the state of Texas. I think both teams should end up somewhere in the top 15. I think Texas has an opportunity to be a top 10 team this season, win a Big 12 championship, and be one of those teams close to making the playoffs. I think they can do it. I think they have an easier route to get to the playoffs than USC does. I think if you had asked me today, who is a better chance to be in the Final Four? Is it USC? Miami? Hell no. I think you and I both.
No,
agree.
Miami doesn't even
No
need to be in here. Like Miami. I personally, Aaron, I actually think Miami's done forever. Wow. Like I don't think Miami's cool anymore. Like we've talked about, I don't think they have that many advantages. It's like a small private school. I guess it's cool if you make a lot of money to live in Miami, but if you don't, you don't. John Ruiz's business is in trouble. Like, I kind of feel like, okay, some schools can elevate a coach, right? And hell, I would use LSU as an example. When you look like Les Miles, even maybe Coach O, but like other schools require a coach to elevate them. Mark Richt is an incredible coach. We know that. That's why he was able to have success in Miami. Like you go back to, like Jimmy Johnson and stuff, right? These are great. Like Miami's just, they don't have that much inherent power, in my opinion. And so I think Miami's kind of done forever. I would take USC over Texas, make the playoff this year a million times over because Caleb Williams is way better than Quinn Ewers. I know the road is harder, but the quarterback's way better. The team is way better. And Lincoln Riley runs fucking laps around Steve Sarkisian.
I agree with that.
Lincoln Riley... to steal one of the Cajun Cannon, my old man's favorite phrases. Steve Sarkisian can't even sniff Lincoln Riley's jock. Okay, if you look at the resumes, it's not even close. It's actually embarrassing for Steve Sarkisian. Oh, and here
I agree with you on that one, but I just it's hard for me to think USC is not going to trip somewhere along the lines. And I guess you could make the same thing for Texas, but the road is just. When you talk about talent versus talent, which is where you have to start with the players first before I get to the coaches, for my opinion, the players are just vastly more impressive at Texas than anywhere else in the Big 12, even Oklahoma. There's a major gap where you look at USC, like, they got a lot of talent, but so does Washington, so does Oregon. Utah's had their number. It just, to me, it's going to be a tough Pac-12 to get through this year, where I think Texas's road to success it's laid out perfectly from this year. I mean, this is Texas. If there's a year for Texas to be back, this is it. Like this, and this is almost a must win season for them. Like it is laid out for you. Have the best team. You have receivers galore. You have a second year quarterback in the system. You have an easy schedule. This is your year to take advantage of it. And I think they feel it. Hearing everything from Sarkisian about how this team has come together this offseason.
Sark's not that dude.
I'm buying it, man. I'm buying it.
You can, if college football's proven anything, it's all about the head coach. And he ain't that dude. I'm glad you said Texas back, because since Sam Ehlinger uttered those words, Texas is 28-20, right ahead of Army and Toledo. And then how about this? You just chose Texas to get their third conference title since 1996 in almost 30 years. All right, let's move on. Okay, last one on the kind of underachievers here. More likely to make a bowl game, Colorado or Nebraska? You already know. You know the answer. It's easy, Nebraska. The cupboard was not bare. The corn hub was full. The cupboard was not bare at Nebraska. I told you, I looked into the recruiting. They've actually recruited better than any team, or right as good as any team, save for the Big Three and the Big Ten.
Yep.
Like Nebraska is going to make a bowl game this year.
Yeah.
Colorado probably will not.
But I don't think the expectations for Colorado should be to make a bowl game. I think the expectation for Colorado is to see, can you get the 4 wins? Can you get the 5 wins?
5.
Like,
it's got to at least be over the 4.5. Bro, 4 wins is that's weak shit. Dion would tell you the same. He said, "I'm trying to get
it is weak
now.
shit, but it's 4x from what they did last year. 1-11. I think that's massive.
Here he
That's
comes.
massive improvement.
NFT
That is
Aaron.
massive improvement, man.
Crypto Aaron with his
That's
4x ROIs.
Yeah, baby. That's a hell of a return on investment, baby. That is a hell of a return on investment. Give me the 4 wins.
All right.
I think 6 is a little unrealistic for year 1 for Colorado. Yeah.
Let's dive into some quarterback rankings. And really, we're not going to rank the quarterbacks as much as Brum has posed some interesting questions.
I got my rankings right here.
Okay. Oh, shit. Okay. So then you control this. How do you want to do this?
Because I hated this.
I want to get
I hated this ranking. I thought this ranking was so bad.
Okay. So give us Aaron Murray's
247
top 10 NCAA quarterback rankings.
All right. So this is my top 10 quarterbacks heading into the season. One is it's Caleb Williams. If you don't have Caleb Williams as your number 1 quarterback, you're an idiot and you don't know the quarterback position. He is what today's game is about at the quarterback spot. I like Drake Maye. Don't get me wrong. I think he's a phenomenal quarterback. Caleb Williams gives you everything. Plus the dude won the Heisman last year. So this is where I immediately discredit this entire list is when you have Drake Maye 1 over Caleb Williams for top quarterbacks heading into the season. Caleb 1, Drake 2. I got Michael Penix at 3. I think he's going to have a monster season at Washington. I think Washington's underrated heading into the year. I think he's a major dark horse to win the Heisman with the kind of numbers he's going to put up. I like Bo Nix at 4. 47 career starts, has a lot of talent around him. A little question about the offensive line, but I think he's a guy that has just gotten better and better and better and better every single season. I think he's going to have a great year. I got Jaden Daniels at my number 5 spot at LSU. I think he's going to have a monster season with the weapons around him, the offensive line, and just how much he's improved as a thrower. Seeing him in their spring game a couple of months back. He's another guy that's going to have a chance to be in New York. Number 6, you're going to hate me for saying this, but when you look at the team that's around him, when you look at the weapons at the receiving position, Quinn Ewers at number 6.
Yeah, there it is.
Quinn Ewers at number 6.
Oh my God.
7.
Does anybody ever have to prove anything to you anymore? No, it doesn't matter. If
I saw some good stuff from Quinn last year. I saw the potential early in the season before he got hurt and kind of went to crap.
Real quick. Let's dive into one of our sub questions then. What's the ceiling on Quinn Ewers? Because to me, the ceiling is not the problem. The ceiling is as high as
the high ceiling is extremely high.
Right.
The ceiling is it being New York and this team's fighting for a national championship.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Like we saw it in flashes last year, the quarter and a half he played against Alabama or whatever it was, some other throws that I've seen highlight on social media.
Yeah.
But then it was just so wildly inconsistent in year 1. And I'm just not sure how,
year 1.
Yeah, exactly. So you're just expecting you're expecting him to start to just take a massive jump this offseason then and start to fulfill some of that potential.
100%. Year 2.
You're not paid to flash at QB. You're paid for that consistency.
I get it, but also last year, to me, you look at the offense, and it was obviously you have a great running back, which helps, but they only had one really good receiver, Xavier Worthy. I didn't love the rest of the receiving core.
You mean they only had one worthy receiver?
They had only one worthy receiver in Xavier Worthy. This year, they're loaded, man. You got him. AD Mitchell's a stud if AD can stay healthy. I think Isaiah Nayor, I had an opportunity to cover him a couple of times when he was at Wyoming. I think he's a hell of a receiver. He was going to play a big role last year before he tore his ACL before the first game of the season. They have a freshman 5-star receiver as well. Like, this is an offense that has way too much talent. Like I said, this is an offense that for Sarkisian is going to feel a lot like what he was coaching at Alabama. So I think all that put together with year 2 in the system, cutting the hair, the mullet, all that shit, focusing on football, I do think Quinn Ewers is going to have a monster season.
Okay. What's your number 7 quarterback?
7 quarterback, Sam Hartman.
Oh, okay.
Him. I want to see what he looks like in a new offense that isn't the whole slow mesh at Wake Forest. Obviously, he doesn't have, Notre Dame's not going to have a ton of elite talent around him. So I don't expect the Notre Dame quarterback to go out there and throw 35, 40 touchdowns. But I still think he's a hell of a quarterback. I think he has an opportunity to have a hell of a year. I just don't think numbers-wise it's going to be anything super sexy.
Can Sam Hartman make the Irish into a playoff contender?
No.
Yeah, nope. I don't think so either.
Nope, not buying that.
I think Look, he's physically beautiful. I think he will put up good numbers. And reportedly, from kind of reading up a little bit, getting ready for this segment, it seems like he looked like really in control in the spring game, like way more than he should have, considering he just showed up. But it's not really about Hartman. It kind of goes back to Notre Dame, right? I mean, Lou Holtz was awesome. After that, Bob Davis, Tyron Willingham, Charlie Weiss, they all failed. Brian Kelly was awesome. And he got them close, but they could not win a championship. And I really like Marcus Freeman. And again, I gave Notre Dame credit the other day for overcoming the things we talked about, like some of their geographical issues, some of the academic things they have to overcome. But Marcus Freeman, as much as I like him and I think he's cool and another good-looking man, he's a relative unknown. So with a new coordinator after losing Tommy Rees, only 68% of returning production from an offense that already wasn't great. I think they're way more fun to watch with Sam Hartman. I think they're frisky and good, but like you can't lose 2 games and make the playoffs. And they got to play Ohio State, USC, and Clemson. They likely lose 2 of those 3. And even if they don't, they still got teams like Pitt, NC State, and Duke who are capable of getting you on any weekend. So I don't see how Notre Dame makes it to that gauntlet, only losing 1 game.
No, I'm with you. I'm with you on that one. Still, even then, like 11-1 Notre Dame.
That should get in.
To me,
that should get in.
I don't even know if
I'd be pissed. I'd be fucking pissed. That's bullshit. That's a good schedule if they go 11-1.
That is a good schedule, but would you put them in over an 11-1 Ohio State who loses on the road barely to Michigan?
Yes. Yeah. If you're not a conference, get out of here. I don't care. Yeah.
But they're not a conference. They're fucking
independent. You have to assume they've beaten again 2 of the 3.
I guess. Sorry, Aaron.
Ohio State.
Yeah, I was going to say if in your scenario, if you beat Ohio State, then yes. If you lose Ohio State, then no.
Then no. Yes.
And
I think the big game for Notre Dame, because I think most people anticipate the Big Ten to get 2 teams in again this year because Michigan and Ohio State are just that much better than everyone else. And, so I think for them, the big one is you got to beat Ohio State. If Notre Dame wants a chance to get in, because Ohio State's not going to lose another game besides Michigan. That's it. So
Probably
you better beat Ohio State. Yeah. You better beat Ohio State.
That's a good point, actually. Like Ohio State's either going to be 12-0 and 11-1 unless Notre Dame can do something about it.
Yeah. All right.
Let's see.
Number 8. Number 8, I got Jordan Travis, Florida State.
Yep.
9, I got JJ
being higher on this list. We'll see.
Yeah. I got JJ McCarthy at 9. And then 10, I'm torn at 10 because I'm like torn in the sense of I think this is going to be an incredible year. I'm just going to say it. Call me a fucking homer all you want, assholes. Carson Beck. God. Carson Beck's going to be.
This is called driving engagement. See, folks, we have a lot of Georgia fans that listen to the pod. And so if you throw in Carson Beck right there at the end, what do? You throw a dog a bone.
Throw a dog a bone.
Carson,
these are my guys. These are my 3 on the outside.
Who are you? Who are you toy? Yeah, give me your OLI so I know who Carson Beck just beat out.
Cam Rising, KJ Jefferson, Joe Milton.
Do you know how fucking disrespectful that is to Cam Rising?
Cam's coming off an ACL.
Yeah.
Cam's coming off. He tore his ACL in the Rose Bowl. Like it's only been 7 months. Like if I knew that you were getting a healthy Cam Rising, that I've seen play a game coming off that injury, then he probably would have been inside maybe my top 7. But I can't bet on a horse that's coming off a major surgery thinking that he's going to be the same guy that he was this past year.
I just think that it's not even a fair premise because Cam Rising is going to have to, on top of the injury, has to overcome infinitely more than Carson Beck does. Carson Beck's going to sleepwalk to stats this year. Yeah, all right, so there's Aaron Murray's top 10 quarterbacks. Here's the one thing I would bring up, Aaron. You say it's not even close if you're talking about Caleb Williams versus Drake Maye, right? But statistically, they're not that different. I mean, Caleb Williams had more time than he's a year ahead of Drake Maye, but like last year, Caleb Williams threw for 4,500 yards. Drake Maye threw for 43. Caleb Williams threw for 42 touchdowns. Drake Maye 38. Williams 5 picks. Maye 7 picks. Williams rushed for 10 touchdowns. Maye rushed for 7. Like they're right there neck and neck. And you seem to be ignoring one thing, and I understand why, because you yourself are a little tiny boy. But some of us, when we evaluate quarterbacks, you know what we want? We just want a big fucking dude, okay? You just want fucking Josh Allen back there. You want Peyton Manning back there. It's like Big E talking about Goldberg wrestling. You just want a big fucking dude throwing the ball. And look,
You want Patrick Mahomes or you want Josh Allen? You want Patrick Mahomes?
Okay. That
Allen?
was round one.
Who do you want?
So that was round one of the big versus little man. This could be round two versus big little man. Maybe the big man takes it home this time. I mean, Drake Maye is 6'5", 230 at 20 years old. Caleb Williams is 6'1",
I love him. You act like I don't think he's elite. I mean, this is going to be the number one, number two
that's a
pick
big
in the NFL
difference
draft
in
this year.
size.
Yeah, but who's the best? Who's the best player, best quarterback in the NFL right now? Patrick Mahomes, who is the same size as Caleb Williams.
Yes, Caleb Williams is more like Patrick Mahomes. That is fair.
I did the way they play eerily similar. I'm taking that brand of football. And I love Josh Allen. Josh Allen to me is transformed as a player since his rookie year. I did not believe in him. And now he's turned into a top 3, top 4 quarterback in the NFL. Drake Maye obviously is a lot more refined as a quarterback. Will have an easier transition to the NFL. But I still think the way the game is played, I'm taking a quarterback that is more similar to Patrick Mahomes than a guy like Josh Allen.
Don't forget, though, Caleb Williams paints his nails, bro. It's a red flag.
Yeah, it is.
That's a red flag. Can't cheer for that guy. He said, fuck you to the opponent. Awful. All right, so there it is. Your Aaron Murray's top 10 quarterback rankings heading into 2023, which very conspicuously included Carson Beck sliding in at number 10. Let's get to the next topic of the day, and that is your Alabama Crimson Tide. It's very funny. Recently, we had that bit about Saban smiling coming off the podium. It's gotten more run than anything I've ever done on Instagram. And like, I don't even think what I said was interesting in any way. I felt like the delivery was pretty shitty. The production was, but shout out Danny Cardenas, our wonderful video editor. He put the Annihilation music behind it, and all of a sudden it's a banger. And all of a sudden Alabama fans are cocky and they're unconcerned, which not so fast, my friends. Because there still is ample reason for concern if you're this Alabama Crimson Tide team, and it's on both sides of the ball. So I would ask you, Aaron, when you break down Bama, where's your big concern? Is it on the offense or the defense?
I would say big time more on the offense. I think the defense is going to be just fine. I think Kevin Steele's been there. The defense hasn't changed much. He knows.
I actually think Kevin Steele's like a wet fart hire, but the defense is
a wet fart hire.
Always Nick Saban's baby.
Yeah. And he knows the way Nick Saban wants to run the defense. He knows kind of the protocol of what needs to happen from Sunday to Friday and preparation for the game on Saturday. So the defense is not changing. And I don't think the offense obviously is going to be changing a ton, but you're still talking about Tommy Rees has to learn the Alabama way. And obviously still younger in the game. I think he's a great offense coordinator, a great mind. He's going to have a lot of success, but I think there's more challenges on offense too. You got to figure out the damn quarterback position. You have a 3-way battle right now. I think you have average receivers. I think you have the potential to have a good offensive line. A lot of people hyping up this offensive line, which was been crap for the past 2 years. I want to see it before I believe it. I just think you're okay everywhere. I think, like I said, good offensive line, okay quarterback play.
Now, of course, you mean okay relative to Alabama standards, not okay relative to a normal team standards.
Yes, to Alabama standards.
Yeah.
Yes. And I think receivers are middle of the pack.
You said that all of last year. Like, I don't remember hearing that a lot of other places. And you were saying that from literally day one of snaps, and it ended up absolutely being true. So before you hate too much on Aaron, Bama fans, just recognize he tried to tell you last year you didn't want to believe him, and he was right. No. I agree. I mean, there's just
way more to prove. Way more to prove on the offense side.
Yeah. Yeah. And even down, it's Tommy Rees. I mean, you have a like Wunderkind coordinator who you think is going to be good, but you don't really know. Like, even without Nick Saban, Kevin Steele has enough experience where you know he's not going to be an abject disaster. Although he kind of was his 1 year at LSU randomly. But and plus, I don't know. Is this disrespectful defense, Aaron? I feel like it's easier to be good on defense. Like, just if you have great players, like it's easier to waste.
Get ball.
They're fucking dumb at the end of the day. Like, just you have one thing, just go rush the passer. Like, put a plan. It's third down. I don't care about anything else. Put a rush move plan in your head and just go. And so, like, I think how I would frame it is it's easier to waste good players or it's easier to waste good players offensively than it is defensively.
Yeah.
Like if the quarterback doesn't have it, you could have great receivers, and well, they're not going to maximize their potential, and vice versa. I mean, look at how human Bryce Young looked at times last year because he didn't have the weapons when we know he's not human. All right, now it's time for the debut of one of our first new weekly segments on Tuesdays. And look, we're going to continue to workshop this. It's all very raw. We're still forming it in this new era of snaps. Subscribe, hit the like button, youtube.com/@volume steps. Let's get into T-Bob's Tuesday tier lists because, hey, we love alliteration. And today we're calling it Tears for Fears, as I'm going to give you my top 3 college football fears plus one bonus societal fear that freaked me out quite a bit this morning. My fear number 1, Aaron, is actually going to have to do with the team that we were just talking about. It's the Alabama Crimson Tide dominating. And the reason being is very obvious. Look, this is a team that lost the first and third picks in the draft, right? Maybe the best defensive end pass rusher we've ever seen in the past decade, one of the best quarterbacks we've ever seen, a Heisman winner. They lose both of their coordinators. There is no reason that this team should challenge for championships. It just should not be possible. Like any other team in the country, if you applied those facts that I just said to any other team in the country, you wouldn't think anybody had a chance. It's actually a testament to Alabama that we even think they do have a chance. And so if Nick Saban gets it done this year and he goes out and he dominates and they challenge for a championship or God forbid even win one, well, then you just throw your hands up in the air and you say, what the fuck? Because the guy's immortal. And there's nothing that you can ever do to stop him. That would be the ultimate show of power by the Crimson Emperor. So my tier 1 fear would be Alabama dominating. My tier 2 fear would be Matt Rule failing. Now, the reason why maybe this, I should probably have this tier 3, but whatever, we're going to grow with it. To be fair, his first year at Temple and his first year at Baylor, they were not good. And they got very good, 2 years after that. However, I do think he took over a much better situation at Nebraska than he did at those previous 2 schools. Nebraska needs to make a bowl game. They will make a bowl game. If they don't, look, I am the leader of the Corn Hub, okay? I've got Josh Pate texting me constantly about his Corn Hub merch. He's got his employees wearing Corn Hub merch. Everybody, I am T-Cobb. I do a radio show with a guy named Husker. Fullbacks are back. Beefy, manly football, again, back. If Matt Rule fails, it's the death of an era. It's this tough-nosed, hard-edged, big boy era he's trying to bring back, and it would just be terribly embarrassing personally for me. And that's why my number 3 college football fear, tier 3, would be Texas winning a championship, because I have already seen firsthand just how insufferable these Longhorn fans can be. And that's, again, without winning anything. Like, think about who the most annoying people in the world are. It's the people who think they are better than they are. Texas has won 2 conference championships since 1996, 28-20 since that Sam Ehlinger year. They've had 1 offensive player drafted in the first round since Vince Young in 2008. Like, they're kind of awful. And yet they think they're fucking awesome. Like, they think that we should be scared of them. I don't buy it. However, if it happens, well, that would be bad for your boy. My mentions will be a dumpster fire. Memes will be out of control. Bevo will be spearing me in the gut. It's not going to be good for me. So those are my top 3
right at the butt.
College football fears. I will say this, dude. One of my buddies who ran with the Bulls in Spain when he was 15 years old told me a story about like what that was like and bullfighting in that arena and everything. And it sounds kind of awesome. And you best believe when Texas fucking fails, I'm going to meme my head onto a matador with a dead fucking Longhorn on the other end of my sword. Okay. So just know that's coming, Texas fans. And then I would say my kind of societal fear that freaked me out this morning. It was 3 a.m. My kids keep waking up from nightmares. I'm like miserable. I can't fall back asleep. And like an idiot, I decided to doom scroll on my phone and I saw the Island Boys making out with one another. Do you know who the Island Boys are?
I don't know how they got popular.
Island Boys. Island Boys.
Yeah.
I don't know either. I'm kind of darkly fascinated by them. So I follow one of them on Instagram and I'm scrolling.
Why just one?
Because they're just like one person to me. Like it's not worth following two because they're basically just an extension of themselves. So maybe they were just kind of making out with their own reflection in the mirror. But whatever. The point is, I'm scrolling through Instagram and look, we've all seen what's happened on the hub the past few years. For whatever reason, the world decided they love incest. It freaks me out. I don't get it, but they decided they do. And so here I am scrolling Instagram and the Island Boys are making out with each other. I'm talking real kissing.
Brothers? Are they brothers?
They're literal twins. Literal twins. And they're like really kissing, like not joke kissing, real kissing. And I was so horrified I couldn't look away. And then it led me to like searching other things and seeing other Island Boy videos that I didn't really want to see. And by the time I emerged out of this X-hole, this Twitter X-hole, I felt like I was covered in a film of like grease and excrement. It made me feel awful. Couldn't go back to sleep. It just it dismayed me about the future of the world. It was a real dark place to be at about 3 a.m. today.
Oh, that is not where I want to be.
Do you want me to send you the video?
No, please don't. I think you did on our group chat. I just kind of just scrolled.
Oh yeah, I did.
Don't want that on my search history at all. Stay away from the Island Boys.
So that
here's a good tier list. I'm excited. Tomorrow I'll be introducing my first little Wednesday Aaron Big Dog Little Dog. So.
Big Dog Little Dog. Basically, you're going to be like, Carson Beck's the big dog. Bo Nix is the little dog. Here's why Carson Beck's going to be better than Bo Nix. And then finally, we'll end on some good news, boys. EA confirms that NCAA, the video game, even with all the madness, still happening, which, to be fair,
screw the players.
Not even the player. Yes, we can get to the player angle, but EA should launch the game. There's never been a more fucking perfect time to launch the game. It's the literal 2020-14 of college football. Are you kidding me? You get to launch a game in which in the first year of it, you're relaunching, which is already going to be so hype. You're relaunching in the most transformational year of college football that we've ever seen in our lives. And you're going to have all these new teams in the Big Ten, new teams in the SEC. Your
12-team playoff?
Yeah, 12-team playoff. Your dynasty mode is
NIL.
going to include, I'm sure, like NIL, transfer portal, all this stuff. Like, absolutely. And when it comes to paying the players, we've talked about it. Unfortunately, I'm sorry. This is one situation in which the players do not have the leverage.
Nope.
People will be slightly bummed if Drake Maye or Caleb Williams not in that game, but they're not really going to give a fuck. People play with fake players anyway. They do dynasty mode. They do whatever they want. So it's cool to have the players in there, but ultimately it's not needed for this game to move forward or to launch.
Yeah. Players just take your $500, be happy you got some extra bucks, and be happy that you're in the game. That's it. Just
a lot of players feel that way.
I think the majority of them do. I think it's crooked aunts and uncles and agents that want to make a name for themselves, that are trying to make this a bigger deal than it is. Just take your money, move on, and that way we're in the game and have some fun.
Spoken like someone who's dealing directly with kids in the NIL space. How many crooked aunts and uncles have you run into?
They're excited for their moment in the sun. That's all we gotta say. They're excited for their moment in the sun.
So how this is, I guess this is good news that EA is confirming that the game's coming out and that none of this madness has stopped it. Brum, did I miss anything on the EA announcement though? Because you told me this right before the show started. I never actually ended up getting to look anything up on it.
It's just confirmed. They just finally confirmed it again. So on great.
Oh yeah, dude. That's what's up, man. Shout out NCAA. And look, there's Ryan Brumley. Pop back on now. Now when Brum wants to talk, he actually has to hop on camera. So
it's my least favorite thing about this software.
That's why now he disappears again. Wow, what a coward. Hey, Brum, can you play us the Big E video on the way out here to end on a laugh? This is Big E of the New Day, WWE fame, talking about watching Bill Goldberg wrestle growing up. Who, if you don't know, I didn't realize this till I got older, but like Goldberg's wrestling style, when you talk to other wrestlers, he's maybe not the easiest to work with, right? Like, Aaron, did you know that wrestling's all like improv essentially? I didn't realize this until I got older. I thought they had all planned, whatever, right? You got to work off one another. Some guys are a lot better at selling, all this other sort of stuff. Here's Biggie on Goldberg's wrestling style.
A great match. Nah. Bump that. I want to see two big men.
Yup.
With big with big chests.
Yup.
And big muscles. Bumping meat. That's why I'm here. That's why I watched wrestling as a kid.
Yep.
You want your 5-star matches? You want your 30-minute classics? Not me. Big meaty men slapping meat.
Fuck yes, dude. See, that's that. And by the way,
That's not on a t-shirt. Is that not on a t-shirt yet? I mean,
it has to be. It
has
to
to be on a t-shirt.
Big meaty
It
man.
has to be.
But that's Drake May. Big meaty man throwing the ball. You keep your little Rey Mysterio, Caleb Williams doing his hurricane DDTs and everything. Give me the fucking spear and the jackhammer, okay? And I'm a happy man. Big, meaty men slapping meats. Maybe that can be on our only snaps if the show fails. That can be a segment that we do weekly. Right? Let's get another big man.
Why don't we get a segment called Big Meaty Men of the Week?
Yeah. Oh, dude, I'm down. Big meaty men slapping meats. Can we play highlights? We can't play highlights though. Shit. If we could play like a pancake high, that'd be so sick. All right. That'll do it for today's show.
Yeah, I still think we can do big meaty men of the week. And just
definitely like big meaty man of the week. Write that down. I'm going to write that down. That's a good idea. Yeah. I agree. Maybe like when we, we'll see.
We might need
like
to,
Monday's meaty man
on
of
the right
week.
to that. Yeah.
Oh, Brum, can we make big meaty men t-shirts and then like send whichever kid wins a t-shirt? That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah.
That says actually is a pretty good idea.
Ah, yes, there we go. Whoa. Nice job, Aaron.
We need to trademark that like now, though, boys. Like tomorrow. Like
now. Maybe might have that. I mean, knowing the WWE and how litigious they could be, I would be a little shocked if they don't have some merch that's already in that same vein. But maybe not. Maybe not. Hey, that'll do it for today's Snaps. Hope you enjoyed it. It's always fun here on Snaps, and help us spread the good word. Just hit 2K subscribers on YouTube. Hell yeah. Remember, we continue to troll, and I mean like troll like through the water, like when you catfish. We continue to troll the comment waters for the best comments, highlight them here on the show, questions and whatnot. And we're still kind of figuring out the new shape of things now that we're no longer on YouTube Live, but live here on AMP. But as always, youtube.com/@volumesnaps. If you want to sub there, or Apple, Spotify, it's all there for you. Huge thank you to Ryan Brumley, Adam Gracia, Pat Gunther, Danny Cardenas, and Chris Tran. And a huge thank you to Colin and the Volume. And the biggest of all, thank you to everybody who listens. We'll see you tomorrow for a brand new episode of Snaps.